not even need Bauer's game for me.
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another episode of Games In, Games Out. That's where I talk about the games going into my collection, the games going out of my collection, and a little bit why. And I will tell you, today we're going to be a little bit light on the games going out because I reorganized my shelf and now I got more space, so don't judge me, I'm a hoarder. So first we got P for Pizza, the easy, cheesy letter game from Big Potato Games. This game is better than it has any right to be. I think this is a really great game, surprisingly. It's stupid simple. You're just going to set out 4 of these little cheese slices like so, and then in the middle there's going to be a red, green, and yellow trivia question. So type of cheese, traffic sign, or has seats, and you have to match the letter with the thing, and the first person to do that gets this piece and puts it on their little bottom row, aka your score pile. But this is where it gets kind of interesting because the questions are red, hard, green, easy, yellow, medium, and on the bottom row you can put any, red, green, or yellow. However, once you get to the middle row, you have to only use yellow or red, and then once you get to the top row, you can only do red. So there's a little bit of a catch-up mechanism in there, and I like that. This game has gone over well with everyone I've played it with, and that's really surprising. If you want to see more, I did a Bauer Plays, and that's going into the collection. Next, we have Animix. This one's from Blue Orange Games. I shot a Bauer Family Learns on it, 2-player. I don't think it's ideal at 2 players. I will tell you, I didn't think it was good at 2 players. Now, that being said, it could be variable, because in this game, it's a really interesting game in which you're going to be putting animals into this main grid area, and each of the 8 different animals is going to score in different ways, but then you're also going to have a face down pile down here, and whoever has the majority of animals in their face down pile. So if I have the most monkeys, I would score whatever the monkeys score on the main board. So then it's, this dilemma of, oh, do I put it face down right here, or do I put it out on the board, which is going to make those score more? It's interesting. I'm excited to try it more. I think you can expect we have a Bauer Family Learns, which is up for it, but it doesn't shine at 2 players. I think it will be actually solid when I bring it to game night. So Animix into the collection for now. If it doesn't go well on game night, though, it's probably going to be out. Next we got Tails, Stones, Kings, Gambits. This is based off of the game that they play in League of Legends, and it's got insanely nice components. It's from the same people who did Mechs and Minions, and I had a good discussion with Tom Vassell and some other people. Name drop! Richard Ham was there too. Yeah, that's what's up. Check out the Alaboom every Tuesday night. Undead Viking was there too. Wow, that's cray-cray. But anywho, what I was saying was we had a good debate about this, and what I think we can really all agree on is this game is not designed for gamers. It feels like a classic game. It feels like a Go, a chess, a checkers, where you want more. As a modern gamer, you're like, there's not enough here. It's a memory/bluffing game, and I enjoyed it for what it was. We enjoyed it at 4 players. 2 players, I enjoyed it a little bit less. I'm going to keep it to see if it goes well as a date night game with my wife. Next time we actually do have a date night, I'm going to bust this out, see if it goes well. If not, it will probably be out of the collection, though. Next, we have Virtue Signal, the game, which, oh my gosh, controversy. I got this unboxing video with like 100+ views on it just because it was like, oh... it's a really light, simple card game where you're trying to... It's not super simple. I don't want to bury the lead here and say that it's like Gateway. It is a step above Gateway, absolutely, in which you're really just trying to match different colors, and there's a whole bunch of it. It's a Take That style card game where you're matching colors and creating grids in front of you. And I think... I put it like this in the Thoughts from the Corner on this that we did. I feel like the target market for this game will enjoy this game. And I don't believe the target market is most gamers. I think it's most people who are sick of the PC, cancel culture, all that sort of stuff, and maybe they're not the heaviest into games, so this might be the heaviest game they ever play in their life, potentially. But, it does have some interesting aspects to it, but still not one for me, and not one I really see hitting the table very often. Plus, it doesn't have the player count on the side of the box or the back of the box. That just drives me nuts. I can't, no, because if I see this, let's look at this. I'm like, okay, what if I see this side of the box? What is this? Oh, man. Next, we got Space Explorers. Now, this game is going straight into the collection. This one is from 25th Century. This is a really interesting game that feels a lot like Splendor, but with more. It feels like Splendor's big brother. The next step up. If you like Splendor, I definitely recommend you check Space Explorers. Check out our Bauer Family. No, it's not Bauer Family. It's Thoughts from the Corner, because we got so many segments going on right now. Ooh, I'm about to unbox this one. This one I'm very excited about. I just got this one in mail today. This is Hitster. This is coming to Kickstarter very, very soon, and I am a huge music fan. I have attention deficit hyper disorder, and the thing that helps me work better is always having music in the background. I legit listen to music 3 to 4 hours a day, if not more. And this game is kind of like Timelines, at least this is the impression I got, Timelines, but with music, and the music actually plays via Spotify. I can't wait to unbox this. I'm trying this one tonight. Very excited about that Kickstarter, and hopefully the rules are in here. We're coming back to that a little bit later. Next we have Drink-A-Gon, a party game. This one is not very much fun, and it's not very good, and it doesn't make you drink very much and at all. In fact, we played it with somebody and they didn't drink anything. So it's not really that good of a drinking game. They tried to make Chinese checkers meets a drinking game, meets truth or dare, and I would rather play Chinese checkers and then a game of truth or dare and then get drunk. Or just intermix those all. Or heck, just play Chinese checkers while playing truth or dare while drinking would make this game better. But I do want to give a shout out. Look at this. This is so nice. This is the travel mat. Okay, travel mat. You're like, okay, cool, whatever, Bauer. Oh, it's not whatever, because listen. Yeah, that's Velcro, homie. That's Velcro, and look at all this. Look at all the pieces in there. This is genius. More Kickstarters need to do this. It's got the little thing right here, like, oh, that's such a fantastic idea. Unfortunately, it's wasted on this game. You know what I might do? Oh my gosh. What if I kept this, figured out a game that had enough components that would fit in here, and then potentially like printed on the back of this, like iron-on printed a board. Oh my gosh, Bauer gets weird. We might have a new segment. Or I might lose interest in that as soon as we get done shooting this video because I got ADHD. Next we got Squirmy Worms, the fast action game, pocket popping worms. This is a really fun game, really enjoyable, and it's an excellent pickup if you're at a flea sale or a garage sale and you have kids that I would say are age 3, maybe even 2.5, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. It's just stupid simple fun. You just, oh, there's worms, you gotta pick up the worms, and they match colors, and the components are nice, the game is played, the worms look really cute, they're all smiling. This thing's super annoying, especially when you're trying to shoot a video, and it's going to go into my collection. And yeah, this one will probably... Well, here's the thing. With a lot of games like this, sometimes I have sentimental attachment because maybe I played it as a kid, so I want to play with my grandkids. But I played this with my 3-year-old. I played it with my 7-year-old. They enjoyed it an awful lot, but I have a feeling this one is going to stay in the collection for the time being, but it's eventually going to get donated to a family that does not have games because I have thousands, so why not? Next we got Smirkle. This one is a very interesting case study. So this game gives me a lot of different feelings. So I want to say, from a strictly gameplay perspective, if this got popular, I could see this being a game that people play 20, 30, 40, 50 years at family get-togethers together. It has that quality. It uses D8 dice. It has all sorts of weird, wonky rules. It's got funny expressions like getting the chicken gravy pot pie thing or something like that. I didn't even remember. But the rules were confusing. And then I got myself into this dilemma where I played a Bauer Family Learns where I taught it to my son while using the rules. But there was a gameplay video to watch. But here's my line of thinking. It's that I should be able to decipher how to play your game just from the rules, and then I should speak about it from that. And if I do get it wrong, then I should go back, reread it, and come back. You know what? Maybe I should. I don't know. I'm having an internal struggle right here. I believe rules, when they get to me in a published game, should be good enough that I can learn the game easily. You know, but that takes out the element of human error. Either way, I don't think I'm keeping Smirkle because the game itself was a little bit too confusing and wonky and weird rules. And it's one of those games that I'm never going to remember all those weird rules. So even if I did want to go to like this lightweight dice rolling game, I wouldn't go to this one because I knew I'd have to read the rules and I'd remember that the rules were frustrating when I first learned them. So no, absolutely out of the collection. Next, we have Ripoff. This game is a very interesting one as well because in this game, you are going to be tearing up money. Yes, you're actually going to be physically tearing up money and then trying to put it on, yeah, you get a whole huge stack of them, on these cards. It's not spectacular. I think it's good. I think it's okay for what it tries and does, but I am going to keep it because it's such an interesting and distinct game. And actually, the main reason why I'm going to keep it is because I could see what right now I'm homeschooling, which, by the way, you should consider supporting the Patreon if you like my channel because I am homeschooling, not bringing in any income, so trying to make $1 here or there. But I'm actually thinking about using this potentially in the future with a child on the spectrum or having some issues. Maybe they're tearing up paper and be like, hey, I have a game about tearing up paper. Do you want to try it? You actually get to tear up money. You want to see it? And boom, that kid is now off that destructive path. Yeah, that's how my brain works a lot when I play games. Next, we have Rattlesnake Jake. This is a gimmick game. What's a gimmick game? Well, that's a game that is funded 100% on its gimmick. And in this gimmick, it is Rattlesnake Jake. And he is going to vibrate if you turn him on. That's not way okay. Moving on. We're not dwelling on that. Apparently, I took the batteries out. But yeah, when you would touch him right here, he would start to vibrate. You have to. Oh yeah, like that. And then eventually, and this one actually might take a while. Eventually, and I'll actually get out the other gimmick game that I have as well, so you can see what that one does. Eventually, he will strike you. When he strikes you, you have to put back some of your gold. We did a Bauer Family Learns on this one, and you know. It is what it is. It was fun. We had a good time, and I think it's a good to great game if you have children between the age of 3 and 7, and they're not going to be scared of this this snake, which presumably will eventually attack me. Which now brings me to, or the batteries will die first. Yep, that's Bauer's Game Corner for you, huh? Anywho, this one is, I don't know, I'm probably going to give this to my buddy Adam for his kids, because we don't need this many gimmick games. They take up a huge chunk of space, and quite frankly, you know, my kids are moving past those a little bit. Oh, put that in the wrong box. Whoopsie daisy. But yeah, there's nice gold pieces. Then we actually have Burp and Bobby, which actually you need to fill with water, and you actually fill it in his ear, which I think is kind of interesting. And you feed him food, and then eventually he's going to burp. And the burp is actually really cool. It shoots... Oh, there's a crank. You crank him. I would say I like Burp and Bobby a little bit better. It looks really cool. He actually burps out like this green mist, like he's that the wrestler from the 1980s. And I like the game. I think they're both good. I will keep one of these. I will most likely ask my 4-year-old Luke which one he wants to keep, and we will keep that one. And that's pretty much how it's going to go. Say, all right, but we're going to give the other one to your friend Marvin. So, continuing on. Next, we have Card Bard. This is a Kickstarter. They sent me the rules in the box. I was excited to play it because I read the rules and I was like, man, that sounds really cool. And then I got it played, and it was a lot of fun. It's a little bit to take that from me personally most of the time, but it's a nice every once in a while game, absolutely. And if you're a fan of Take That style card games, I think you will like this. This one also has a really interesting deck construction system where you're going to be your own bard, creating your own deck with your own songs, and they all have very different special abilities. I think this could be a really cool tournament game, and I think I hear a mouse over there, which is odd. I heard him earlier. I said, well, what is that sound? Why am I whispering? It's so crazy. But yes, once that is on Kickstarter, it looks really cool. Speaking of Kickstarter games, we also have Billionaires Money. This is another one that's going to be coming to a Kickstarter near you very, very soon. I do want to say it looks like a Monopoly clone, but it's actually not a Monopoly clone. This is a game in which you are going to be rolling, moving around the board, and then taking money from billionaires, trying to become a billionaire yourself, and you can buy properties, you can buy assets, and it sounds like Monopoly, but it is not a Monopoly clone. I did a how to play skip the rules on this one. I will probably not be keeping that one. I will not be keeping that one, in fact, because it is not my cup of tea. So, continuing on, we have Munchkin Quest. This one's from Steve Jackson Games, and this is the best Munchkin expansion you will find on the planet Earth. Yeah, you're saying, what? This little bit? What? You kidding me? It's like 30 cards. Yeah, this one is. It goes with every single version of Munchkin in existence on the planet, and it just adds these extra little quests, which, hooray, can speed up the game, which is one of the main issues that every single person who's ever played Munchkin in their life has with Munchkin. Or if you haven't, you will eventually get there, especially if you play 6 players and if you play with someone who will absolutely not let the game end, and that's me. That's why nobody likes to play Munchkin with me. But this is the best Munchkin expansion ever, so get it. I will, in case I can trick someone else into playing Munchkin with me. Ha 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 ha. Next, we have 10 Sons. This is what happens when you don't send a copy of the rules in your Kickstarter game. I don't get excited about it. I still have not read the rules for this one. It still has not gotten played, whereas Card Bard, I was like, oh yeah, baby, I want to check this one out. I will get to it eventually. I know nothing about it because I read the rules to figure out things about it. So, continuing onward, we have another dueling card game. This one is called Fight Your Friends. This is an interesting game. It has a whole bunch of different characters from a whole bunch of different smaller indie comics. At least I believe that's what's going on. And I thought it was a good enough head-to-head dueling game. That's not my particular speed. That's not my cup of tea. I would much rather play a lot of other different styles of games. So unless this was absolutely spectacular, fantastic, amazing, splendorous, It's not for me. But I would say give it a shot if you're into two-player dueling games. I think it's good. I don't think it does anything in particular to set it above the rest, though. But if you really like the genre, give it a whirl. It might be for you. Next, we have Dino Crunch. This is another gimmick game, and this one is actually based on an older gimmick game I found out when I posted my video on Board Game Geek. And in this one, there is a dinosaur. He's going to be getting the eggs, and you get these tweezers, and you're trying to get the eggs, and it's a scary dinosaur, and that's the theme of the game. I also believe it made some jungle music, which I did really like. It creates a good sense of ambiance, and I honestly kind of hope he picks this one over those three, because I think I like this one better than Perfect Bobby and Rattlesnake Jake. Actually, I might keep this one myself just because of the tweezers, because it's really frustrating for kids, but it does work on their fine motor skills, and once again, my background is in education. Next, we have Rare Roses, which, man, I was excited about this. I read the rules. I said, this sounds really cool. You're going to be aging roses, and you're going to be, shut your mouth, whatever is over there. There is something over there. I feel like I should tab the camera afterwards and see if we can explore. But, did I drop? Anywho, Rare Roses is no, absolutely. Don't bury the lead here. This is not a good game. I do not recommend this game to anyone. I even said in the video, I would not even recommend this game to a florist. Is like just something to have. It looks beautiful. The components are nice. The box inserts is great. I actually snapped the board in half because I shot a video with it. But, I keep hearing it. It's crazy. But no, this one is immediately out of my collection. I played this with, 6, 7, 8 people maybe, and I asked, does anyone want this? No one wanted it, and that's really what you need to know about a game, right? If I am literally trying to offer this game to someone free after they've just learned how to play it and no one will take the game, that's all you need to know. That should be the review. That should be the every single review. I should just get rid of all my games, and I should just play it with my friends, and then I should be like, does anyone want this game? And I'll be like, yes, 3 people wanted the game, or no one wanted the game. I played with 16 different players, nobody wanted it. That tells you a lot about the game. It could even be its own rating symbol. 3 out of 5 friends wanted the game. That's a really interesting idea. I'm going to forget it. All right, so next we have Maracas. This one is a new one from Blue Orange Game. It's really light, really simple, and really fun. We shot a bar full of alarms of it. I think it's a very rock-solid family game, especially if you have kids that are in the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 range, because this works really well on counting. If you have kids that are in the process of trying to learn how to count, wholeheartedly recommend this one. You shake it, you put beads in there, you shake it, they try and figure out how many there are, you take them out, you count them, and you get points if you get it right. Super simple. I'm keeping it in the collection. Not to mention, it's small, even though I will say the packaging is going to annoy some people because that's the packaging right here. So, there you go. Next, we have Knife Tag, another interesting game. This one is a game in which the table is going to be your board, and you're going to have your own tank down here. And it's a card. And you're going to be moving that tank. This is a programming movement combat style game where you're going to be able to attack your opponent's tank by flicking cards or by dropping landmines or by running into them. There's a couple different ways. They have some really cool ideas in here. However, when we shot the Battle Family Learns of it, I still want to play it on my game night, and I do think I am going to keep it because it's in a tiny tuck box, and I did enjoy the game. I do like different games that give me different feels, and this one does that. But I even said when I was shooting the Battle Family Learns, I was like, ooh, this card might be broken, buddy. And then I proceeded to break that card and win on the next turn. Yeah, there's a card where you blow, and if you have big lungs like me, you could blow pretty good, and yeah. But that being said, we then tried to repeat that task of just blowing it and blowing it and blowing it, and we couldn't move it more than like 2 inches. So maybe it was a fluke. I don't know. Next, we got Team 3, my current game of the month. I believe I rated it 8.5. It is such a really unique, interesting game in which you can play it cooperative, you can play it competitive. You have both versions of the game. You can play up to 12 players. I think it'd be an amazing, giant group convention game if you had enough copies of this. But here's the crux. There's going to be 3 people working together. And one person is going to be looking at a card, and the card will look like this. It will have a whole bunch of different shapes on it. That's a monkey card. It will look like that. And then what they have to do is communicate to person 2 how to assemble this structure. However, they can only communicate by using their hands. Frantic, like this. You cannot talk. However, that second person can talk, and they're going to be talking to person number 3. So person number 2 is going to be deciphering what person number 1 says, and then person number 2 is going to be talking to person number 3 on how they're supposed to put these blocks together to make them look like this. But that third person is not able to see the blocks. Their eyes will be closed, and therein lies your game. Fun ensues. It is a bit repetitive. It's definitely not going to be something I bust out every game night, but one that I absolutely will bust out from time to time because it's so unique, different, and just plain fun. We're checking this out. I keep hearing it. Next, we have Secret Neighbor from Arcane Wonders. This game I was really excited about. I reached out and said, hey, I would like this. It's supposed to be a very mini social deduction game. And I just want to start by saying, I feel like the best possible scenario for this game would be at a 10, 11, 12-year-old's birthday party. Somewhere in that range. 13, 14, 15, maybe even up into there. I think this would go over like gangbusters. It's a really simple, light, simple social deduction game where you're either going to be playing as neighbors or you're going to be playing as the kids. And there is the secret neighbor, and the secret neighbor will not know who their teammates are. And so it has like kind of that secret Hitler-esque vibe. It plays... I enjoyed it at 5 players, but the people I played it with, we all agreed it needed to be at the higher player counts. Also, I do want to say, I've not got a chance to play this at the higher player counts, which is why I haven't shot a video on it, except for... Yeah, I haven't, except for the unboxing, because I definitely feel like I'd be doing a disservice to this without playing at the higher player counts. So for now, it's going to sit on my shelf in purgatory. But hey, at least I'm talking about it, and maybe you're like, man, I do have a 10-year-old's birthday party coming up. Huzzah. Next, we have Kulami. This one is from Foxmine, and this is the last game that my wife actually enjoyed playing for quite some time. This is a really simple abstract strategy game in which you're just going to be placing balls into these little holes. It was a Mensa Select winner, 2 players, ages 10 plus, 20 minutes. I'm not a particularly big abstract strategy game, but when my wife says she likes a game, the game goes into the collection. No questions asked. Next, we have Herd Mentality. This is a really rock-solid game, and 8.3, it actually got dethroned by Team 5, which was an 8.5, but this Big Potato Games just normally crushes it. They just pick out rock-solid games. Good to great games every single time. This is no different, and this one is absolutely going to go on my shelf for one very specific scenario, and that is because it accommodates up to 20 players, and it accommodates up to 20 players very stinking well. Just with this box. This is the perfect game to bring to a company Christmas party or a large family get-together or anything like that where you're going to have a large group. All you have to do, I mean, there's a silly pink pig, that cow that floats around, and you get to moo at people. That's the funnest part. When someone's taking too long to write their answer, you moo at people, and the whole game is just a question is flipped over. What's the biggest animal you could lift? And then everybody writes down their answer, and if you have the majority, if your answer is part of the majority, then you score points, cow points, and if you were the only person who got it wrong and nobody else did that, then you get the pink pig, which means the pink cow, which means you cannot win the game. And so it's just like a floating automatically you can't win condition, which I like. And yeah, it's going in the collection. So last but not least, we have The Few and Cursed. And with all these interesting games, it is fitting that we end on another very interesting game. This one is from Rock Manor Games. It is a deck builder, quote unquote. Wait, does this say 60 minutes? You. What? I thought that said 90 minutes. Shame on you, Rock Manor Games. 60 minutes when you're playing solo. What? Oh, okay, on the front they say 90 minutes. Somebody was like, really? Really, Mike? 60 minutes? I bet somebody looked at the box and they said, Mike, 60 minutes? 60 minutes? Yeah, this game took us about 2.5 to 3 hours to play. It had 3 players, I believe, with the expansion go up to 6 players. And I'm going to start off with all the bad stuff first before we get all the good stuff, because this game is wildly different and original, and I'm going to keep it in the collection for that very reason. But I would not really recommend it at 3, 4, or any higher player count, just because the downtime between turns can be long. And if you have analysis paralysis, it can be even worse than that. Oh, Rare Roses. I forgot to mention why I hated Rare Roses. So I'll just put it like this. The first game we played, my friend Alan won like 55 to 0 to 0 to 2. Okay? That's pretty much all you need to know. I feel like that was like an hour long. Maybe it was, what was it? It was about an hour long game. But The Fear and Curse is a deck building game. A deck building game where you're going to have an asymmetrical character who's going to wander around the Old West in a sandbox style thing, potentially, shooting things and taking out people who are wanted and earning grit, which aka victory points, going to the store to level up your character, going to take different jobs, which will then allow you to score points and do different things if you reach certain milestones. And there's going to be these giant monsters that will come out eventually, and they'll come towards the city, and they're worth tons of points, and they can destroy the city, and there's a cooperative version, and then there's a solo version, and you can turn cursed. And if you want to see more, watch the Thoughts from the Corner, because that is literally 16 minutes of us just going, and there's this, and there's this, and there's this, and there's this, and there's this. They tried to cram every single little thing into this box to the point that it almost feels fidgety. It does feel fidgety a little bit, but in that good, charming Twilight Imperium kind of way, where the game is so unique and original and different that I can't think of another game that reminds me of The Few and Curse. Because, well, yes, it is technically a deck-building game. It doesn't feel like a deck-building game because the deck-building is different, and the hand management is different, and the movement is different, and just everything about this game feels a little bit different. It's how I felt when I first played Vikings Gone Wild from Lucky Duck Games. Another very original, different, unique game. That one, though, just kind of feels like they threw everything into the game from the deck-building genre. This one feels like they introduced a bunch of different concepts. But, anywho, Few and Curse, recommend this as a two-player game. I think it is a great two-player game. You get to three-player games, I think you're going to have a very divisive game that some people will see past the long time and, you know, a lot of the faults and still enjoy it. But I think at 4 or higher, I think you're just going to have a real bad time. Also, you are going to want to read the rules before you get into this. No questions asked. I had read the rules. I had played the game solo a game and a half before I taught this game for the first time, and it still took us almost 3 hours to play this bad boy. So you need to know that 60 minutes. You Jezebel. Oh, there's one more. Yeah, so this is also a, this is going to be some good Bowers Game Corner. This is a game. It is rules rhyme. I don't know what this game is. I couldn't find the rules. They sent me the rules, though, so big ups for them. I'm going to find it somewhere upstairs. My kids lost it in a giant pile of papers. But there you go. That is games in, games out for this period of time. Because, I don't know, maybe I'll get 100 games tonight, and I'll get rid of 100 games tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe there'll be a video tomorrow. Probably not, though. But let me know in the comments below, what's the last game to go into your collection? No, more importantly, yeah, let me know the last one to go in. Let's be positive, not negative. Not getting rid of the games that you thought would be great and would delight your family, because that really is. Huh. I wonder if part of the reason why people hoard games a lot is because getting rid of a game that you once had excitement for and that was once going to delight you and your friends, because when you buy a game, you hope that everyone has fun. You hope that everybody says, oh, look, there's Forrest. He always brings the best games. He has cool stuff. He tries to, you know, that's what we always feel like when we bring games to game night. You want to get played. You want to get vindicated. And by getting rid of a game, you are giving up. You were saying, all right, I was wrong. That this game was not going to delight and wow everyone, and not everyone was bask in my glory. So I wonder if that's potentially why people hoard games. They're waiting for that perfect scenario to happen where it just... Interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for...